Assassin's Creed Shadows, another shitty woke disaster. How many times have we been here? How many times have we seen exactly this same outcome and scenario unfold? And if you don't know what scenario I'm talking about, it's this. Game comes out, it's an obvious financial disaster that's probably going to destroy the company, and anyone with more than 2 brain cells can easily tell that this is exactly the situation. And then come the woke lunatic losers who for some reason need to literally die on the hill that no, somehow this is a financial success, that this is a beloved game, that this is a return to form. Oh yes, oh yes. And these idiots always do it. And they try to argument themselves, and their arguments, as always, are pitifully stupid. Most of the time they're just taken out of context. Like they refuse to look at the big picture because the big picture is not a lot better than the guy who jumped from the Titanic and hit the propeller. And they choose to just concentrate on one small thing because maybe it looks good if you portray it in the most craziest light possible. And here we have McDrizzle Gaming, a woke idiot. But keep in mind, some people are born stupid, but in rare cases you find people with talent who were born stupid and found ways to become even dumber through their life. And this is one of those cases. And in this video, we're gonna go through arguments, you might want to call them, maybe, if you're an idiot. And we're gonna look why all of this is fucking stupid. Because the cope is absolutely real. So let's get into it, boys. Let's start. The biggest Steam launch of all time for an Assassin's Creed game for concurrent players on Steam. One side on a side note, this is such a fucking shitty constructed sentence, by the way. I fucking can't. This is not even the first time I read it, by the way. It's just so poorly constructed. What a stupid metric, LOL. Yes. So, what this person is doing, what this genius absolute amongst fucking men is doing, because most of them can't read a fucking single line on a graph if there's only one line and one graph. It's honestly kind of astonishing, you know? And this is the situation. This person is taking a small fraction of an argument and ignoring everything surrounding it, okay? So I'm gonna disprove all of this, how absolutely blatantly stupid this is. This guy is taking out of context the fact that this is, a Steam chart, that this is the most best launch of an Assassin's Creed game. But if you actually look at the facts and you check out other Assassin's Creeds, like for example, let's look at the last 2 Assassin's Creed, okay? And the last 2 one of them was Mirage. Assassin's Creed Mirage was released in 2023. Feel old yet, champ? Probably do. And after that, Assassin's Creed Mirage was released on Steam on October 17th, 2020, motherfucking 4, boy. Okay? So that's a year apart. You feel me? That's a year apart, okay? While Assassin's Creed Shadows got released on all platforms at exactly the same day. So, and when you look at Assassin's Creed Mirage's chart, it had 8K maximum players, which is 10 times lower. Well, actually, it's not even 10 times lower than this number. It's roughly 8 times lower, which is pathetic. So, technically, it's better than this launch, but again, this game was launched on Steam a year later. Every single person almost in the universe who cares about Assassin's Creed has already played it because they're not going to wait 1 year for it to launch on Steam. After that, we had Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was launched on in 2020. Oh yes, what a beautiful launch, isn't it? And then it got launched on Steam in 2022, baby! Which was, by the way, the pandemic of no origin. And this was the chart for this bad boy. Almost 16K. So, a game that literally launched on Steam 2 years later 2 years later, on Steam, has only roughly 4 times. Is it actually 4 times? Yes. 4.3 times less players than a fresh launch on Steam right there off the bat. You don't need to be a genius to figure out that this is pitiful. Assassin's Creeds that were launched on Steam 2 years after their actual real launch are almost comparable in numbers to the original one. And this is what these people do. They constantly just lie. They're gonna ignore the fact that none of these games were launched at the same time. And these, by the way, are games that sold 20 and 10 million copies each. Kinda insane, huh? Then we have more comments. Most people have learned by now that Ubi Game Launcher on Ubi Connect, regardless. Wait, most people have learned by now that Ubi Games launch on Ubi Game Connect regardless. So why not buy? Why not buy through Steam? These sentences are so fucking wild. Am I the only one who has trouble reading this shit? Yes. Essentially, this is a non-comment. And then the response, I don't know that. I did not know that until now. Makes sense, though. Rockstar does the same. Rockstar does not do the same in the slightest. It's kind of similar, but not in the slightest. This actually should be a comparison between launchers, the Ubisoft launcher, because they have their own, and Rockstar's launcher. But no, Rockstar doesn't actually do the same. The only thing that they do this for is actually pretty much GTA. Everything else, they kind of find ways around it. And this was not the same for a very long time. Rockstar has had better Steam integration for a while. Why are we always basing everything on Steam concurrent player numbers? You see, these are the genius questions that these fucking weirdos ask. I don't know, because they're the best numbers we have on the most popular platform, which represent the majority of the player base, which have been right constantly. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why, Chief. Maybe because they're obviously the best numbers that we have, and the ones that never fail us. People need magic numbers to back up nonsense. I mean, literally, you kind of did the same. And these are not magical numbers; they're rooted in reality. And again, this is just the midterm of the cycle, okay? At the end of the cycle is Ubisoft comes out, says Assassin's Creed Shadows, surprise, surprise, absolute financial disaster. And then all these losers just say that stop talking about it. They pretend it never happened and they delete tweets. This is the typical woke washing machine cycle that we go through. Y'all always say this, and then 3 months from now, the studio closes and everyone gets fired. This guy knows. This guy knows. And someone has to explain to the board why they lost so much money. This man knows what's up, okay? This man knows what's up, okay? Star Citizen logo by there. You gotta look at every circumstance different, man. No. A lot of circumstances don't require you to look at them differently. All situations are almost unique, but it doesn't. Also, what what is the thing that we need to look differently here on? It's listen. 60k players is a really big number. It's an absolute success. If you're comparing it to an indie fucking title, this is the best-selling indie title in the universe. But wait. It's somehow a AAA slop game, not a goddamn actual indie title now is it, Chief, okay? And an indie title that sold less copies, by the way, than Dragon Age Railguard, that all of us called, especially me like 50 billion times, that it's going to be a financial disaster for BioWare. And it was! They literally had to come out and say, oh yeah, this thing. And by the way, the predictions for how much this game sold for me were exactly on spot, okay? This game currently has not even breached the 1 million mark of sales, which is insane. A franchise that had 20 million fans minimum that are willing probably to buy this bad boy, they didn't. Not even a million chose to buy this woke piece of garbage. And same with Assassin's Creed Shadows, obviously. Again, my current prediction for Assassin's Creed Shadows is worst case scenario. Worst. I'm kind of switching it around. Worst case scenario, because this game's success is the worst case for gamers, is that this game has currently sold 700k copies. Best case scenario, 450, I would say. This game is not reaching 1 million sales in its probable lifetime, honestly. It's just that bad. Okay, where were we? Okay, you got to look at every circumstance differently, man. I'm happy that he added the man at the end. Is this game performing well? What a question. By most standards and available info, it seems to be. What info? What standards? Again, are you comparing this to an indie game? How are you? What are you comparing it to? It's literally day 2 was not even the top most 50 played things on Xbox, which is insane. And the day on its release, it wasn't even top 10 on Xbox's most played games. What are you gonna do? Again, with the people play it on console argument, it's bullshit. Everyone knows it's bullshit. Will it save Ubi? Question mark. No. What? Also, by the way, if this game is a success, that should inherently mean it saves Ubisoft, because why the fuck? How can a game be a success and yet it loses money? Like, explain this shit to me. They can't. I don't think any one game can. Well, that's actually how every studio seems to have worked so far in history, you know? They make a game successful, studio continues doing things. Game not successful, they go bankrupt. But for some reason, for this, for Ubisoft, it's like, no, make Assassin's Creed Shadows succeeding wouldn't save them for some reason. I mean, think of disasters like Skull and Bones. That would destroy most studios alone. I don't understand what's the point here, but again, not a lot of point in these people. Assassin's Creed Shadow is peak. I'm afraid. There we go. There we go. It's peak points. It is what it is. Someone with the Interstellar Heretic Prophet logo of the bald chick. It's peak, boys. There you go. There you go. Guy who's probably homosexual told you it's peak. 10 out of 10. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of addicted to it. Only you should probably play it more, not just spend your fucking time on Twitter. It's almost like measuring player count instead of sales, especially when the company has a subscription service when you can play the game for massively reduced price isn't the best way to measure success. Oh, but it is, sweet cheeks. It is. I'm gonna get into that. 100%. And I think in 2025, even revenue has gotten more complicated, like especially with sub-services. I am sure there is metric like every Ubi Plus sub, we got an average per blah 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 revenue that doesn't cancel EDC. This is such a stupid sentence. Okay, listen. The argument here, poorly, I am doing a lot of lifting for this person because like hell they're gonna never make even a remotely smart argument. The best argument you can make in favor of this right here not being a disaster is saying, well, actually, 100% of the real players are on the Ubisoft launcher. That's the best argument you can make, which is obviously still a fucking flawed argument and extremely stupid. Now, granted, I cannot prove that the Ubisoft launcher is bad, unpopular, or any of these things, because Ubisoft for some reason refused to give us numbers on this crap. I wonder why. But at the same time, again, we don't live in a bubble, and we have tons of things to compare it to, okay? And we are smart enough to compare it. And we have a great comparison to actually the Ubisoft launcher. Actually, 2 even. One is the Blizzard launcher, and one is the Bethesda launcher. And yes, the Bethesda launcher doesn't exist anymore. Bethesda A miles better company, which is a sad sentence to honestly say unironically in any situation. Bethesda, a company that's doing way better than Ubisoft, that has more money than Ubisoft, that has more successful games than Ubisoft, literally abandoned their launcher because no one wanted to use it, no one cared about it, everyone hated it. Yes, they did that. The only launcher outside of Steam that has ever really even remotely successful is the Blizzard launcher, which people are starting to use less and less, and they're just going to Steam to buy the Blizzard games nowadays more and more. Is because when you launch the Blizzard launcher, you get a fucking ad nowadays. Oh boy, buy a retail World of Warcraft bullshit. Yeah, people hate that, so people just literally choose. People are even slowly abandoning the Blizzard launcher because how aggressive in your face it is with telling you buy our shitty slob games. Previously, the launcher was good because you just launch it, press click, play, and there you're done. Pretty simple. And a lot of people had Blizzard games. But for Ubisoft, that doesn't work. Who the fuck bought Skull and Bones? No one. Who the hell has all the games there? No one. If people can go to Steam, they're gonna go to Steam. This is 100% factually true. Or are you gonna say that Ubisoft is somehow more popular than Steam? No. People are gonna choose to have the games on the most popular launcher that they have, the one that they use the most. So no one's actually going intentionally to buy it on the Ubisoft launcher to play it if they can do it on Steam. That is the thing. 100%. Wow, someone is going to be mad. I wonder who. Again, we are just so close to Ubisoft pronouncing that this is a disaster. And do we have more? We had some more a little bit. It makes no sense for gamers to use it as a way to measure sales. Stardew Valley outsold Wukong, but had a fraction of the Steam numbers at its peak. I'm unable to take seriously anyone who uses. I don't know about. Actually, I haven't read this before. I don't know about Stardew Valley, but Stardew Valley is something that has existed for a literal forever now, isn't it? 100%. It's like cool. We have a record most concurrent players at once on platform. Like it's interesting, and it makes. I can't even read these fucking responses. Kill me. Seems like a fairly important metric to me. Best AC launch on PC is a good thing. Keep telling yourself that, boys. It's like interesting and sure. It's like interesting and how are these sentences? It's like interesting and short. You can get positive from you can get positives from it, but for anyone trying to come to the conclusions on sales, that's it's not a good one. Why is it not a good one? Every other game, by the way, that we have predicted has worked like this. Wait. These people are also going to use the argument, oh, you call everything a Vogue disaster. Do we? Do we? No. For example, Kingdom Come Deliverance, when there was the idea that it's going to be Vogue. By the way, I have changed my opinion on that. I watched the video of the actual game, and the ending especially of it. Kingdom Come Deliverance has quite a few Vogue things in it. It is definitely a Vogue game, and above everything, it's pure propaganda. Kingdom Come Deliverance is literally pure fucking propaganda. But still, again, even if it was Vogue, it's gonna be a success. It's gonna be a financial success because it's gonna sell a lot of copies. And Bloodhouse Studios literally announced I think on day 2, that they have already recuperated all the development costs from the sales. That's how these things work. Again, and we predicted this correctly. Diablo 4. Is it a bad game? Yes. Is it a dying game? Yes. Did we predict that it's gonna be absolutely amazing hit? Yes, it sold like 20 million copies or something. It's absolutely a financial success, even though it's a bad game. And same for the Vogue games. Dragon Age Railguard, absolute Vogue shit. Predicted come through. Unknown 9, Concord, Dustborn, All of these things, we predict them and it turns out to be exactly on the goddamn money, boys. And yet these people are constantly fighting it. It's like fighting against the windmill. Just stop. Are there any other interesting comments? No. What is this? That's great, and I agree. Oh, this looks positive. It's funny to see some trying to push the narrative that this is another Whale God. When I miss the fact that there's a whole other launch. Okay, so yeah, again, the Ubisoft thing. No one's using the Ubisoft launcher. No one is using the Ubisoft launcher, okay? Listen, also, by the way, if you look and compare, like, for example, this and you know that this sold 20 million copies, and then you compare it to this sold 10 million copies, and you know you're gonna say, wow, yeah, this is because everyone plays on Ubisoft. We can extrapolate the numbers from here, by the way, because these numbers actually have connections. See, almost 8K, and this one is almost 16K. This one sold 20 million copies, 16K. This one sold 8 million copies, 10K. So it's a ×2 multiplier or 50% division. Very simple shit, right? So if we, but let's just take this easier number, right? Because we already did the math here. This game on Steam has 4.3% 3 times less roughly players. Assassin's Creed Shadow. Now, if we are assuming that this sold 20 million and Assassin's Creed Shadows is a good release, then how many do you think that Assassin's Creed Shadows has sold copies? Well, by this point, it should probably have sold at least 20 million copies, if we're comparing these numbers. If Assassin's Creed is a success and it's going to be comparable to Valhalla, then at this point, they should be selling 4.3 times more than 20 million copies that Valhalla sold. Yeah, yeah. That's 80.8 million goddamn motherfucking copies, boy. That's a lot of copies. And yet we are hearing from Ubisoft that day fucking 4 we have 2 million players. Seal fucking clap. So yeah, nothing of this makes sense. It is clear. I don't even know why I needed to go this fucking in deep on this shit. It is what it is. It's dead. We were just gonna have to wait for the point where Ubisoft comes out and says, "Yep, this is a financial disaster. GG insolvency. Here we go. Booyah." And then these people are gonna forget everything they said because goddamn reasons, obviously. Oh, what is this? You idiot! Assassin's Creed has never launched on Steam ever. It has, but it's a delayed 2-year launch. See, this person gets it. Like, these arguments are so weak and stupid. It's painful. Anyway, bye-bye.